What's up, everyone? Lethal here. Gonna go ahead and go through the comment section of one of my posts. That's actually doing pretty good so far. Probably gonna be a longer video. There are 53 comments, and I'm planning to go through most of them, if not all of them. But I found that there's a lot of teaching points on this particular comment feed. So yeah, let's jump into it. It's this post right here, the one where that's a gentleman talking about defunding the police, and he's saying he's gonna feed them. Yeah, this post right here, 53 comments, 458 likes though, so that's awesome. Thank you guys. All right. The first comment obviously is just guy being ridiculous. Anti-police so he's anti-police, but he's not explaining why he is so far. Let's see if he goes into detail. Name checks out. Dude, the demon, your comment is actually spot on. I mean, if you're gonna make an insult, at least make it, make sense. Name change it. All right, the whole kill yourself thing. Please don't put stuff like that in my post. I don't wish death upon anyone. I understand why you said it, but I'm asking you, don't say that stuff on my post. And never wish violence on anyone. I don't care what they say or do. I would never wish violence on anybody, regardless of what they did. Even if they were saying they were so anti-police that they wanted cops to die, I wouldn't wish violence upon them. I don't wish violence upon anyone. This guy, though, he's just like, he's saying he genuinely hates cops, but he's not saying why. And dude, I'm gonna tag you in this. If you want to talk to me, talk to me in DMs. We can get a dialogue going and figure out exactly why you dislike cops. As now I'm kind of curious. I mean, you're saying you do, but you're not providing any reasoning as to why you do. And I can kind of see why they're calling you a baiter, because it does seem like you're baiting when you say you hate something without giving reason for it. So if you genuinely do dislike or hate police officers, hop into my DMs and we can get a dialogue going and talk about it. Next comment. This actually makes me feel hopeful. My dad's a cop. I live right in Chicago, so you can imagine how liberal our area is. Bro, Stanch, I'm a Chicagoan, dude. I live in Chicago. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Tell your dad that I hope he stays safe out there, man. Tell him to watch his six, because it's getting crazy, even in the suburbs. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, brother. Definitely pretty liberal up here. There's not all of them are bad. Not all the liberals up here are bad, but there's some definitely a lot of extremist liberals up here. So yeah, I get where you're coming from on that, brother. Make sure your dad stays safe out there, man. Tell him thank you for all that he's doing. All right. Back to blue. Absolutely. Now that all police are localized in one spot, you can finally have your partner in crime come around the... Okay, so with that, it's probably a small town police department. And it's probably not that many officers. What they're probably doing is they're coming during lunch or whatever, which they can all respond to a call, but they're doing a lunch. That or they're off duty. It could go either way. Some departments, they have take-home squad cars for their police officers, so... All right, next comment goes, I try not to stereotype people into grounds or into groups and respect everyone as individuals, like cops. All cops are not bastards. There are good ones too. Blue Lives Matter flag, though, you're protesting the protest of BLM. Blue lives don't exist. Blue lives do in fact exist, and it's because, yes, it's a choice, but they make the choice. Despite all of the hatred and disrespect they get and danger they deal with, they still make that choice every day. They show up to work every single day. They clock in and they get to work, and they will stand between you and a bullet regardless of what you have said to them. So yeah, Blue Lives Matter, dude. And especially when you have protesters out there saying, all cops are bastards and F the police and all that stuff. yeah, Blue Lives Matter, absolutely. And it's the thin blue line flag, man. It's not Blue Lives Matter, it's thin blue line. Thin blue line is a representation for the police. It's the line between order and chaos. It has nothing to do with Blue Lives Matter. It's a whole other different thing. It's the thin blue line. Police are the thin blue line. The line between order and chaos. And without that line, you have chaos. If you don't believe me, look at Ferguson. Look at Minneapolis. Look at Portland. All those different places. Look what happened when there were no police. Absolute chaos. So, yeah. Thin blue line, brother. Thin blue line. Let's check some of the replies. And he's absolutely right. When they're saying that, yeah, you can protest with the Blue Lives Matter thing, because they're being very, very hateful. BLM is a terrorist organization. Well, I don't agree that they should be killed. They should sit down and talk to them, open up a dialogue, and maybe try to get them to understand or help them reach understanding. Terrorist organization is pushing it. I just think they're misinformed, highly misinformed. This guy right here, ACAB, for the sole reason that they take part in a corrupt system, and if you have 100 cops, one is corrupt, then that's actually 100% false. Police will out the bad ones, because the one thing that police officers hate above all else is a dirty cop, because it makes their job more dangerous and it makes their job harder. So yeah, they're gonna out them. That whole thing you see in the movies where they cover up for cops and stuff, that doesn't happen in real life. In real life, you're gonna get outed because they don't want their lives put in jeopardy because you messed up. It's not how it works in real life, man. I would suggest sitting down and talking to some real officers so you can get the lowdown on how it actually is in real life. Because the way you're talking about it, that's how it is on TV and the movies. That's not how it really is, brother. Maybe I try way too hard to be neutral, but I just don't get what Blue Lives Matter. They aren't stereotypes and their uniform is off and aren't oppressed. They actually are pretty much oppressed 24/7, because it doesn't matter whether or not you're wearing the uniform. You're a police officer 24/7. If there's a crime committed in front of you, you are legally obligated to intervene in that crime. If you do not, you get fired for that. You can go to jail for that. So you're legally obligated to intervene. So you're a cop 24/7. Doesn't matter if the uniform's on or off. The badge is on you 24/7. Police brutality and corruption is not an issue. Contrary to what you might believe, it's not an issue. One, most people don't know what actually constitutes brutality and what doesn't, because they don't know what justified force is. They don't know the protocols or the statutes that dictate what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable when it comes to use of force. Secondly, you don't really see 90% of what's going on because the media doesn't want to show it. They're not showing you the millions of interactions police have every year with people where there's nothing happens because people don't try to start stuff. What you're looking at is when people fight. If you don't fight them, you're not going to have any problems. If you think they're doing something wrong, document it. Take notes. Soon as they lock you up, tell them, I want a lawyer right now. Get that lawyer and spill the beans, spill everything to that lawyer, and then bring it to the courtroom. The place to argue is in the courtroom, not on the side of the road when they're doing a traffic stop, all right? Take it to the courtroom. You're never going to win when it's on the side of the street or anywhere else, but you have a very good chance of winning in a courtroom. You are innocent until proven guilty. They have the burden of proving that you are guilty. If you can prove that they messed up, any lawyer will be able to take that and run with it and get you off. A little bit of a joke. That's not bad. Let's all defund the police. I mean, it kind of looks like it might be bait, but the whole defund the police thing in and of itself is ignorant. So you want a better police force, which requires better equipment, which requires more money, and it requires better and longer training, which requires more money, and requires better quality officers, which requires higher pay. All of those require more money, and to achieve the goal of a better police department, you are electing to remove money from an already underfunded part of the government. Doesn't really make sense at all. Dads do stuff like this week for horse hunting. He always said it was because. Hey man, your dad's a good dude. Anytime you do stuff like this for cops, they truly, truly appreciate it. Your dad's a good dude. All right, Badger, I can't. All right, Bad. You're gonna have to send me the link to that video, and I'll break that video down. I'll do my research into it. I can't take you at your word for it. That's just how I am. I don't take people at their word for stuff. You're gonna have to send me the video and let me get my own opinions on that shit, on that stuff. All right, man. Send me the link. Let me look into it. And I'll get back to you on that. I can't take you at face value. Thank you. Police here are assholes. Well, some areas police are assholes. That's unfortunately unavoidable. And technically, to you, they might seem like an asshole, but they're just doing their job. I mean, nobody wants to get a ticket, and I guess they overstep their bounds. I won't defend every officer. Obviously, I will call out the bad ones. If they're doing dumb stuff, I will call them out 100%. And the second comment about a bank robbery, Again, elevated mind. I'm gonna tag you in this video too, bro. If you want to talk about why you're anti-police, shoot me a DM, brother, and we'll talk about it. I'm more than happy to have an open conversation about it. There ain't gonna be any cussing. There ain't gonna be any insulting, no demeaning, or any crap like that. It's literally just gonna be me and you talking, and it's probably gonna be mostly you talking because I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming from. So yeah, you want to talk about it? Please DM me. I'm more than happy to have a conversation, man. Help you figure some stuff out. Maybe you have some questions that you don't know the answer to, or maybe there's stuff you would like to know. I can help you out, brother. So shoot me a DM. Doom, the likelihood of them all getting defunded is very slim because the areas where they've already been defunded, the crime rates have skyrocketed, which is proving that defunding the police doesn't work. It never has, and it never will. That's not the answer. So it's not going to happen. The people are already realizing that, yeah, no, it's not working. Glizzy for the boys. Not really sure to make that. Just give them better funding so they won't be assholes. Well, that would depend on what your definition of asshole is, because asshole is subjective. It's opinionated. What one person might think is asshole, another person might not. So that's the concept of bad. We decided we're asking too much of them and they're overworked. Defund doesn't mean no funding. Ease of work on giving taxpayers a cheaper, more effective option for non-emergencies. Help, not replace. We all like breaks of work, cops included. Yes, but there are certain situations where you need an officer to respond, such as mental health calls. They keep saying have a mental health expert go. What are you going to do when they pull out a gun and start shooting? What are you going to do when they pull out a knife and charge you, or pull out some sort of weapon and come at you with it? The mental health expert can be trained on it. That's why I had the idea of having officers on each shift, like 10 or so of them, depending on the size of the shift, who are specialized in mental health crisis. And when there's a mental health call, they're the ones who respond. And the officers who make first contact, their sole job is to just buy time until the mental health officer gets there and can help. That would be my idea. Your call, Gene Cuisine, if you want to DM me too, we could talk too, brother. I mean, I don't know why you're anti-police. I couldn't help the song. I mean, that's just, that song was written in the video. I didn't make the video. Jack, the police are already severely underfunded as is. Their bulletproof vests that are issued to them by the department don't work. Most of them are expired. Contrary to popular belief, Kevlar has a shelf life. When it is being worn and moved all day, it causes the fibers to wear. Kevlar vests usually have a shelf life of about 5 to 6 years. Most of those vests are all expired, and they literally need to have fundraisers to get new vests for the officers because the departments cannot afford it. There are departments where not every officer, including big ones like NYPD, Chicago PD, and LAPD, that not every officer wears a body camera because they can't afford them because they're expensive. Not only are the cameras themselves expensive, but the database where all the footage is stored is expensive. Storing all that camera footage is expensive as hell. On top of that, people ask, well, why didn't they tase them? Not every officer has a taser. Tasers, arming an entire police force with tasers is not cheap. It is very expensive. Having all these police cars, not cheap. You need to pay for all the repairs for all that. That's why all these squad cars always have all these issues with them. Talk to cops about their squad cars. Every time, they'll tell you that every squad car they've driven has had some sort of big issue with it. Something that didn't work that needed to work. So they're already severely underfunded. They don't get paid enough as is. And all the military equipment they have, they got for free. A lot of it's military surplus, if not all of it is military surplus. These armored vehicles they have are military surplus. Most of the rifles they get are military surplus. They get a lot of their gear from the military. Stuff that the military doesn't need, they'll give it back to the police so the police can utilize it. But they have the ability to violate country limits without regular people being able to do anything, without being labeled a criminal. That's not true. You have every right to go against them if they're violating your rights. If they're violating your rights, make notes of that and call them out in court, dude. Obviously, like I said, don't call them out on the side of the road because you're never going to win. Call them out in court. That's how you beat that. Take it to the courtroom. Not all cops are like that. And they know they don't have the ability to violate your rights, believe it or not. And most cops won't. Most cops are just hardworking, decent men and women who just want to make a difference. That's all. They just want to help people. Bottom line. Most cops aren't like that. They don't want to violate your constitutional rights, and they won't. Most cops refuse to. And when I say most, I'm talking like 99% of them refuse to, like outright, will refuse to violate any type of constitutional right. Because that's what they swore to do, is to uphold the Constitution above all else. So, they probably are off duty, or they got them on the lunch break or something like that, or it could be a small town. I'm not quite sure. I have to try and get in contact with them, which would be a pain. I don't know. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Those of you guys who I said I'd mention in the comment, I'm going to tag on this video, I'm going to tag you. Shoot me a DM or ignore it. I would prefer for you to shoot me a DM so we can talk about it, get things ironed out, figure out why you dislike the police, and maybe I can shed some light on things that maybe you didn't know. Who knows? Yeah, that's all I got for this one. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great day. Lethal out.